It says I'm live, and this is me practicing and learning and kind of merging my research of selling products online, aka e-commerce, with domain-driven design to solidify my understanding, or at least an attempt to. And so I'm gonna share my screen, and it says I'm sharing, and I'm gonna pull up the the code that I was working on in the last video of my dream Amazon service solution, in which in the last video I did a product services dot specification. Then there's a test that I created a project for to solidify my understanding of the particular domain regarding product services. And there's a couple more items that I learned that either may go in this product services specification library, or maybe a completely separate specification library with other operations. Hence, these are the operations. When I identify the operations for a given domain, when I go operation first, ultimately, like when I say get top products, get top expensive products, get top inexpensive products, get ratings, get average ratings, get reviews on rating score. And when I define those type of operations, it's going to flesh out the nouns or the data types that those operations will require. And that's pretty much the workflow or the technique that I've been using. Okay. And so I kind of like this so far. Something that I learned that I think is going to work in the future when I start domain modeling systems is I think there's a tight correlation, or there should be tight coupling between a user and a service, right? So, uh-oh, I don't even know why this says ID. Um, I would just put user in here, something like that. So our user service can be passed to, all the view models, or even all the controllers, and or should I say can be injected into all the view models or all the controllers, depending on if it's an MVC application. And it just avoids having, it takes two would-be parameters into one. And then, I mean, honestly, I could really expand on that part as well. But first, let me take over here. Let me create a type called user. Okay. And that user is going to at least have a user ID. It's going to be of type user ID. Okay. And what else? Well, it probably makes sense to have an email on here. So you say email equals, and then you can say email of string. Okay. And do something like that. So now our user is going to have not only a user ID, but also a email. So we could do email like here, and then we can do email like that. Okay. And so then we could go back over here, and I think that works for what we need. Okay. Now what? Well, when I'm looking at all this, I see a pattern. I see that for these operations up here, get top products, get top expensive products, get top inexpensive products, they all require a user service, they all require a category, and they all require a time filter. Okay. They all have that kind of in common. And so it makes me think that maybe there's potentially a separate spec for products, a separate spec for ratings down here, because for the ratings type of operations, you have user service, you have product, and you have time filter, right? So it kind of makes me believe that I can like partition these items into individual suites of services. And well, maybe eventually I could get to that part. So what I'm saying is I could say user, like, okay, for example, right now I have a user service, but what if I have a user product service, okay, or user product inquiry? I don't know how to spell inquiry, but something like that, service. Now, do I really need to say service at the end of it? Maybe not. Okay. And well, how do you spell inquiry? Okay, I can't spell it all. Come here. And I spelled inquiry right. Okay. And it's kind of the same thing over here. Like these are ratings, right? Blah, blah, blah. And one can argue that a rating is a form of a review. So a review would be the umbrella for a rating. So maybe I could say something very similar when I declare a new type called uh, user review i- inquiry. Okay. And so for user product inquiry, um, the user product inquiry is going to have a category and a time filter. And so over here, why not just say that we're going to have a user service, right? Since that type is already there. And it's going to be a category, category, okay, and time filter. Because I mean, all the stuff right here is kind of all redundant, right? Let me try to highlight this a different way. All this stuff right here, it's all like it's redundant up here. So why not just encapsulate that into its own type? So we have time filter, and we say, oh, come here, time filter. Okay. So user product inquiry is going to be of these types. User review inquiry has product and time filter in common, right? So this stuff right here are all shared in this suite of services. So it would be a product and a time filter over there. So if I product here, say product, okay, and time filter is still there. So that's what we have so far. Now what? Well, I say user product inquiry, get top products, even though I'm requiring a category, which isn't really reflected in this name, but I think that's okay. Get review inquiry, takes product. Yeah, so I think all this is okay for right now. Okay. So now what? Well, what I want to do is now that I've analyzed my the specification that I have and identify things that are shared, that are somewhat redundant, then I can pretty much just do this over here. Okay. And for the user review inquiry, do something like this. Okay. Okay. Now, I don't know if I want to go out my way and push this stuff up here. Mm, maybe that might work, or I could just leave it as it were, and it represents two different two different sets of responsibilities, and I think that might be okay. Get reviews on rating score, product score. Both take a time filter. Yeah. So this over here, this get reviews on rating score will have everything that a user review inquiry requires, but it'll also require a score, right? And so something like that. And then that right there. Okay. And part of me wants to do that, do that, and push this up here, do that. Okay. Now what? Well, I kind of like this. It looks cleaner. And now I can expound on the services that I have, whether these services are going to continue to be part of this product services specification, or if there will be a new type of specification library that I introduce into the solution. Okay. So something that I want to take into consideration is whatever product, if I review this, I like saying mission statement, right? But in Agile or Scrum, in Scrum we say user story. Okay, maybe I should leave Agile out of here. In Scrum, we use the term user story, and you say in this case, as an entrepreneur, I want to understand what products are selling well on Amazon.com. And so this is like product analysis, right? Um, this is product analysis. Forgive my spelling. And do 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 do. I don't like the way that looks. Now, if I do that way, then I have something like this. Okay. And my OCD kind of wants to do this right now. No, that doesn't look right. I don't know if this format's going to stay or not, but it looks okay to me right now. Okay. So product analysis, if that's even how you spell analysis. As an entrepreneur, I want to understand what products are selling on Amazon.com, and these are the services that are going to support that initiative. Okay. Now I want to expound on that. Okay. And so in order to accomplish that, there's some other services that I want to add that I'm not quite sure are going to be part of this. But honestly, it's not going to be part of it. My friend, I went out to Hard Rock, but I'm reading a message right now. I'm going to add a new service. Okay. So I'm going to add a new specification library. Why is this? Oh, yeah, because I was actually working for an employer and they are behind the times. Okay. So over here, the last the library that I currently have up that I wrote code for or wrote the spec for was called product services dot specification. This one I'm going to call product validation dot specification. Okay. And I like it. Okay. So with this, we can focus on these. Can I say scope to this? No. All right. So we can focus on this product specification or product validation dot specification, and there's going to be language for the specification and Control Shift A. There's going to be another file that we're going to call operations.fs. Okay. In our specification. All right, and I'll do Alt down key to reorder my file, bring that operations down after the language file. Okay, so now what, Willis? Well, let's uh, let's make sure we have our naming conventions. Okay, so say product dot or not product dot product validation. Shoot, product validation dot operations. Okay, and the one above is module product validation dot language. Okay, all right. Now what, Willis? Well, so we need to define some types in the specification library in regards to product validation. And so to accomplish that, what are some of the operations that I need to have for this product validation? Well, there's going to be hell of operations that I'm going to define, and they're very likely to be consolidated, right? But I'm just going to just do a brain dump and just throw them all on here right now. So one is unfulfilled. I don't know how to spell unfulfilled. I don't know if that's one L or two L's on full. Unfulfilled need. Okay. And that is going to take a product, maybe. I have to say that this is a type. Type is unfulfilled need. Get rid of this equal sign over here. And it's going to more than likely take a product, and it's going to be a result of bool if that operation is successful, or it's going to be a error description. Not okay. And I defined error description somewhere already. Defined it in here, and so that's shared. So maybe I should, well, for right now, error description should probably be, for right now, maybe I should add another library. And that's kind of going to be like, I don't know what to call it. It's either going to be called shared, or I like saying core. Okay. So this is the core library that other libraries can have a dependency on for things that are shared amongst them. And so here, this is, I don't know what to call this. It could be product.core, and that'll be a module. Okay. And get rid of that. In my product.core module, this is going to have shared data, which means that this error description, user ID, email, user, I would also argue product ID and product. So I would also argue this up here as well. All this is going to be thrown into this new library. Okay. That. And we can call this library file name. We could change that to language. Okay. And so now our product services is going to have a dependency on core. And our product specification is going to have a dependency on core. Okay. So now we can go back to our product validation specification, which is over here. And what do we call this? Product.core. So we say open product.core. Okay. And we use the same thing for our product services specification. We say this is going to right above here, open product.core. All right. And I kind of like this user story. I'm not sure if it's going to be the same for our product validation specification library, but this is going to be still going to be related to product analysis. As an entrepreneur, I want to validate that I want to validate a product can a product that I want to validate that a I want to validate if a product is profitable on, I could say, Amazon.com. Say something like that. Okay. As an entrepreneur, I want to validate if a product is profitable on Amazon.com. That's my mission statement for this specification. The operations is unfulfilled unfulfilled need. I don't know how to spell unfulfilled. I have to validate my spelling, and it says that I happen to spell it right. Okay, so this type is unfulfilled. is going to take a product and it's going to return a result that's either a bool or error description of type string. Okay. Now, this isn't correct because this looks really familiar, product, but we also need, remember, a user, and more than likely there's also going to be a service. The service is probably, I don't know if it's going to be the same service. Well, it's in a different specification. We'll treat it as a different service, right? So what I mean by that is, remember, actually, actually, all these operations here are going to feed into uh, my product validation specification. They're all going to be relied upon. They're all going to be relied upon, okay, in some way. But my product validation specification, I would still argue, for now, probably should be completely ignorant about its knowledge of product services specification. These are two different libraries that are peers, and I don't think they should know about each other. However, there's nothing wrong with my product validation specification adhering to the same uh, high level function that it could use as one of its arguments for its operations that basically are contained in these operations over here, meaning that even though my product validation specification, I believe, should not have a dependency on my product services specification, there's nothing wrong with injecting the product services operations into my product validation service via function signatures, get top products, function, all this right here. Of course, if I say it like that, then it makes me believe that, kind of makes me believe that all this stuff should be in the same thing, because at the end of the day, I'm doing validation, right? If I look at the mission statement of my product services specification, as an entrepreneur, I want to understand what products are selling well on Amazon.com, right? Then I look at my mission statement over here as an entrepreneur statement, or as an entrepreneur, I want to validate if a product is profitable on Amazon.com. It's pretty much almost the same thing that I'm saying. And so it makes me believe that all my operations should be maybe not necessarily added on here, because this is referring to specific products, where a validation is a product that I conjured up that needs to have some form of I can't say the word I can't say the word different differentiation, right? I have to differentiate a product such that it provides benefits and responds to the critical reviews of the products that are already being sold by competitors. Yeah, so this is This is an example of analysis paralysis right now, where I know deep down that product validation and this product services are very, very closely related. So, in a way, I feel like I feel like product validation should probably have a dependency on product services. It just feels wrong. Um, but it kind of yeah, it feels wrong. I feel like everything in here should be peers, with the exception of core. Like so, right now, your product services should have a dependency on core. Your product validation should have a dependency on core. But now, product validation could have a dependency on product services that has a dependency on core. And you know what? The more I think about it, I think this is an exception in which maybe it makes sense that product validation is going to rely on product services for certain operations, such as is unfulfilled needed. Let me start over. Is unfulfilled need. Okay. And maybe I should just keep adding more operations to solidify my decision on if this product validation should have a dependency on product services. So another one is and this is me just doing the brain dump, right? A lot of this is going to be there's a there's a chance that a lot of these operations that I'm identifying are going to be deleted or they're going to be modified or refined. So another operation will be like something to the effect of will established brands trump product, uh, or I could say like can not like can product compete with like brand names, something like that. And I don't like the name of that function, but it's essentially the idea, right? Is right now I have can product compete with brand names? And what's a different way of saying that is kind of saying like branding uh is branding dominant? Dominant. I think that has A in it. I don't know how to spell dominant. All right. Like is category branding dominant? Category category branding dominant, and that's going to require a product. And so we see user products, and this would probably be user product, right? And so if we go back to core, which over here, or we go back to, let me see, operations over here, user product inquiries, what I want to use. So this gets promoted to the core library. Okay. And this wants a service. This isn't right. Take this back. Put that back. And for right now, they're two different domains. So right now I could experiment with duplicating this. I'll go back over here to operations over here. There needs to be something called a user service. So there's a user product inquiry that these function types will use. Is unfulfilled need. I don't like that name. Is there unfulfilled need? Maybe I should say that. Is there unfulfilled need? Is category branding dominant? Which I still don't like that. Is category branding dominant? Maybe it's is branding is branding is is branding priority, or do other brands dominate? Something like that. I'm sure I'll change this a couple more times. But we both take a user product inquiry. Now the service is iService, and this will type iService, and that is going to follow the pattern that I had of my other specification library. And I think this is pretty cool. Where is there unfulfilled need? Is there unfulfilled need, and do other brands dominate? Because I can't think of a better name for these functions or operations. Okay. So this user product inquiry is going to probably rely on the category for do other brands dominate. Okay. And if I look at category is currently in product services. Maybe that gets promoted to the core library. Okay. And if I go back to product validation, there's a time filter, which that's not needed. Okay. That's not needed. Okay. All right. So the user product inquiry is slightly different in my product validation specification than it is in my product services specification. So far, we defined the following operations. Is there unfulfilled need? Do other brands dominate? Which I still don't like that name. I could say is brand dominated. Is brand dominated space. Okay. A little bit better. Okay. Now what? Well, those are only two of the operations, right? There's some more operations that deal with validation or validating if a product is profitable. And one would be, and again, this might easily be removed, but it's basically dealing with like has or have resources to compete, and that is dealing with the actual user. I have a feeling all this is going to return a result of type bool. And so when I say have resources to compete, I mean that's primarily dealing with like budget, which is still pretty abstract. But this is just a brain dump, right? And so another one is product different. Type is product different. And this will probably be a user product inquiry, but this actually requires the the product in it. So look at user product inquiry. It's defined in two different places. In product services, it's the user service and the category, right? But in here, there's a different meaning, right? This is actually going to require the product. And I would say that product should probably come second in order of precedence. Okay. And so is product different? Takes a user product inquiry and that's it. Now there's some other operations such as is it a utility, right? And I don't know if these are real operations, but I'm just doing a brain dump. So is product util is product you could just say is utility. Is utility and change that is product different to just is different. Okay. And so far I'm seeing a pattern. And if it's if it's a utility, something else that you can ask is, or if you have to ask a question if something's a utility for to see if it's profitable, you can also ask if it's a form of self-expression. Is self-expression, and I'll keep on saying that I have no clue what operations on here are going to stick or that even make sense. Okay. And when you're thinking about if something is a self-expression, is if a product reflects self-expression, then you have to consider the sales amounts and the demographics. That's something that I think should be considered. So I don't really know what that means, sales amounts and demographics for does the product reflect self-expression? Like, I don't know how you really feed that into this operation. I feel like I feel like that's more well, the demographics I think is more related to marketing, right? So this is like identifying the market or the demographic of people that are going to potentially buy this product and the sales that this already has. But when you think about the sales that the product already has, then that kind of goes back into the product services specification where you're saying get top products. Um, I think. But with that said, I guess I could say another operation is it generates high volume sales, right? Or you could say generates enough sales. How about that? And if it generates enough sales, then we also want to understand the say type has I don't know has something with reviews like has high volume reviews maybe. And like right now I'm modeling everything as kind of like a checklist, like just true or false, checked or left blank. And I know has high volume reviews is kind of like abstract. I don't know if it should be maybe I should be more specific and say like even generates enough cells is like too abstract. Maybe I should be more concrete and say generates what? I could say generates 100 plus cells. Now, if I say generates 100 plus cells, then there's probably going to be a time filter involved, right? Something like that. And it's the same thing with has high volume reviews. Um, well, maybe not. This has high volume reviews means that there's high volume sales. And not sure if that is can be derived from this service over here. Okay, maybe not. This is all about profitability, right? And this is just about selling. What's selling. They're not the same thing. They're different, but they're tightly coupled. So for product analysis, as an entrepreneur, I want to validate if a product is profitable on Amazon.com. Then if it generates 100 more sales, then you want to say, well, 100 more sales, what, per per day, per month, uh, every 6 months, year? That's what this time filter is. And well, if I'm really saying that, then maybe I leave the time filter out and I just have multiple. I really say generates 100 plus sales monthly. Okay. And I think that's probably a better solution. And then I can say generates 100 plus sales. Well, if it does it monthly, then I don't need to ask. Well, I could say, I don't know. I think I might just leave it like this. And I'm not even sure if 100 is what I want. It could be it could be 50. Okay. I think that's fine. That means that every month, no, F that. Hold up. Every for something to be worth my while, I think that I should have at least 2 sales a day starting off. A- And of course, you have to take into consideration that if you get 2 sales a day, then you want to make sure that you're profiting, right? So it doesn't make sure to only profit uh, you know, $3, but you're selling 2 products a day in which the profit margin is $3. Like, well, so that's $6, and then 6 times 30 is, I don't know. It's I thought it was 180 or something, but I can't do math. Well, 6 times 3 is 18, right? And so what is that? $180. Yeah, this is me lacking mathematics skills. So calculator, and you say 6 times 30 and $180. Okay, so that's $180 a month, and I think that's okay. All right, because I said that. I mean, I didn't say it on the video, but I said that, hey, just getting started, if I decided to go through with this and try to sell on like Amazon, I would be content if I start off making $100 a month. Then that means that I could potentially grow this business. So yeah, but the whole point of me going through that dissertation is um the whole point of this is that this generates 50 plus sales monthly. You want to make sure that you're not making like $2 off of every sale, uh, or $1 off of every sale. You want to actually make sure that you're actually making money and you're not just selling things and breaking even. So, okay, so I did that. Has high volume reviews. We can change that name to has I would say what? I would say has one has I'll just say has one plus review monthly. Now this has one plus review monthly. I feel like both of these items up here would probably be in here because this product is should be unique to what I'm selling or unique to the market that I want to compete in and is not people can't review or buy something that hasn't been out already, right? So I kind of feel as if those operations really belong over here. But then again, I already have this get top products, get top expensive, get top inexpensive, right? So that already makes these operations over here obsolete. And that is a fact. That's a true statement. So you really want to say competitor, competitor generates 50 plus sales monthly. Competitor has one plus review monthly. And do I want one review monthly? The whole point is to have a low amount of reviews. So competitor has, yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know if I want to say has like at least one review monthly or has less than 100 reviews monthly, right? Like reviews are important. I'm just not sure how they factor into here. Do I want to sell something that doesn't get any reviews in the space that I want to market in or the market that I want to compete in? Yeah, that's something that I don't really know the answer to. So for right now, I'll just put this right here, question marks. If people are taking their time out to review, then they care, even if it's one person. Okay, so far the operations that I've defined for this product validation is there unfulfilled need, is brand dominated space. So what that means is like if you're if you want to sell like a purse, well, do other brands pretty much do people really care about the purse that you want to sell or does the market trend towards people that like really gravitate towards specific brands like Coach, Louis Vuitton, or any of those other types of brand purses, and they go after the brand versus the self expression. So that's what I mean by that. Is it different? Which I have no clue. um, if that's even a operation or not, but I threw it up there anyway. Is it a utility? Same thing. Like, how do you tell that? I mean, you could probably figure that out based on the reviews of what their complaints are. I don't know. There's a lot of things I just don't know. Reflects self-expression. Same thing. I mean, all this stuff may not even be programmable without machine learning, but it's just something I want to just throw up here as I solidify my understanding of this space or this domain. Okay. What else? Um, the number of competitors. So I could say another operation is has has less than 10 competitors. I don't know what number to really throw out there. It could be less than 15 competitor. I mean, it could be less than 20 competitors, which I kind of think is a lot because we're not talking about a store. We're talking about like a website that everybody's going to, right? Do you want to compete with 20 other people? And I'm sure the answer for everything is it depends. But for me, um, there's 20 people. The whole point is like, how easy is it for you to get on the first page of Amazon.com with the product that you want to sell? Now, if you have 500 competitors, you're not going to get on the front page. You're not. If it's 20 competitors, you're going to be on the second page. You may be on the first page, if probably half your competitors uh, aren't selling well, right? So like even this has to be curated because I mean you can have a you can declare an operation saying has less than 20 competitors with 50 plus sales monthly. Like I mean you could really like be that detailed, and I think that would be valid. So you have like less than like it's not even based on competitors. It's well, I guess it is. Keep it simple. We still want to have less than 20 competitors. I think that's okay. I don't know. All this is new to me, right? Okay. What else? Um, when you're looking at your competitors, you have to take into consideration their history of selling and their consistency of their sales or the consistency of their sales. I don't know if that belongs to this over here. Yeah, I'll throw it in here for right now. In a way, I kind of feel like this is going to be another separate specification library that is focused on competitors. I think that's where it's going. So right now there's like product services, and then there's product validation, and I think there's going to be another one called competitor analysis, and I think that's where this stuff is going to be going to. And well, because I'm already there, why not just add that library? Now, this product services test, this is kind of, I think this is premature right now. So I'm going to unload it, and I think I'm just going to remove it from the solution right now. Not delete it, but just remove it. And I'm going to add a new project, and I'm going to call this uh, competitor I can't spell competitor analysis dot specification. Okay, and this is going to have operations, and it's going to have language. Come here. It's going to have language. Okay, and so I could call this competitor analysis dot language, and I could call this over here competitor analysis dot operations. Okay, and so if we go back to where I was before, like all this is competitor stuff, and this is, I think, like these operations are still relevant for product validation. I just feel like it's it's very dependent on the competitor. And like you're not going to have one competitor, you're going to have multiple competitors. So then you have to say like average competitor, right? So then you have like something like this. Average competitor generates 50 plus sales monthly. Average competitor has 1 plus review monthly. And the last one could probably stick. Duh, 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 duh. Okay, so I'm kind of on the fence. I still think that the whole reason why I introduced this other library called competitor analysis is because for product analysis, like your product isn't out there, but your competitors are selling something that is similar. So I don't know. This competitor analysis, it may go away, but I don't think it will. I think it will just complement what's over here. I'll keep this over here for right now. All right. So what else? Number of competitors, their their history of selling, right? Number of competitors, history of selling is important. Um, maybe the consistency of their review, consistency of their reviews, is that important? I'm not sure if that's important, but the consistency of their sales is important, which is this 50 plus sales a month. Um, yeah. And what else? There's other operations such as, let me see, type requires technical enhancements versus like cosmetic enhancements. Like that is going to be a barrier to entry. and could be expensive and also lead to maybe more regulation to get into that market, which as a beginner, like I don't want to do. So you have your same type of signature requires technical enhancements, or maybe I should say, if I want to be positive, doesn't. Can I put an apostrophe in here? Holy crap! I can put an apostrophe in here. Doesn't require technical enhancements, or you could say not require technical enhancements, something like that. And what else? Well, not require technical enhancements. And then you could say something about cosmetic enhancements. Say easy cosmetic enhancements. I don't know how to frame that. Or you could say can cosmetically enhance easily, which is verbose. Easily cosmetically easily uh, you want to be able to read this easily. Technical enhancements not required is better. And then cosmetic enhancements capable or easy. How about that? All this contributes to understanding if a product is can be profitable. Okay. Especially when it comes to like differentiating. All right. And something else that you have to take into consideration, like this have resources to compete is kind of dealing with like sourcing or your supplier. So that basically is going to deal with like your budget and the like it'll be your budget, but then your minimum order quantity and something like that. All right. So you'll take your user product inquiry as an argument. Okay. And can your product this is the last one. Um and can respond to or let me say this a different way. It's your product responds to critical reviews. And of course, well, yeah, I don't have to say product in here. So that's it. User product inquiry. And I'm trying to tap out now because this has been at least a 1 hour exercise of me performing critical thinking. Da, 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 da. The service needs to be filled out with all this other stuff. And there's a budget in here that I need to find. There's an MOQ in here that I need to find. Okay. So in language, I say type budget equals budget of decimal. What else, Willis? MOQ is minimum order quantity. Type MOQ equals MOQ of and this could be decimal because it may be ordering like a weight, or it doesn't necessarily have to be like a unit of something. It could be like a decimal value such as weight, um, like 5.5 kilograms or whatever. Okay. And let's go over this. Hold up. I just attempted to build this and it looks like I have errors. And product services, open, I'll just say core. I'll call it over here. Where is my core at? Core is product.core. Okay. Over here, this should now build, or I didn't say open language up here. Okay. Come to build again. Everything builds. All right, so now what? So for product validation, to figure out if the products that I'm considering selling on Amazon.com will pass a series of tests to determine if they're still worth going through with and investing the money to buy and brand and all that other overhead that's required to put the time and resources into the series of tests, right? Is there unfulfilled need? Is brand dominated space? Is different? Is utility? Reflects self-expression. Reflects self-expression. That's kind of related to is different. Um, hmm, Whatever. They could still be separate. Average competitor generates 50 plus sales monthly. Average competitor has 1+ review monthly. Or you could say has at least 1 review. It has less than 20 competitors. Technical enhancements not required. Cosmetic enhancement, easy. Make that plural. Has resources to compete, which takes into consideration the budget and your budget and the minimum order quantity. responds to critical reviews. That's your product. Um, yeah, this is the gist of it, and I'm glad that I went over this to dwell and marinate on the things to consider when validating whatever I may sell on Amazon.com using F sharp as a tool for thinking things out, fleshing out the requirements for validating my ideas. Now this service needs to have all that stuff in it, right? So that that this is different part. Why not? Is utility. Um, all this, right? And average editor. It's less than 20 competitors. Technical enhancements not required. Cosmetic enhancements are easy. Response to critical reviews. Have resources to compete. Okay. Okay. My OCD needs to take over. There must be order and alignment. Okay. Okay. And that's pretty much it. So this is it for the most part. Now, I didn't do anything with this. Where am I at? Competitor analysis service, which is kind of this right here. Uh, I kind of feel like this should go in there, but I mean, I don't think that should go in there. But I think that these operations, if they were real operations, would ultimately rely on operations that are defined in competitor analysis. Yep. But because nothing's in here right now, yeah, I'm gonna have to marinate on this. I'm not gonna remove this from the solution. I'm gonna keep it in here, but my brain is tired now. I think I went through a lot in thinking all this stuff out, and so I'm retiring. All right, hold up. There must be order. Must be space. All right, that's it. I'm Scott Nimrod, and I'm just doing a very weird code kata um, for learning a different domain and exploring other opportunities. And I'm using F sharp to document that. All right, peace. See ya. I'm out. How do I close this off?